Hi, hello, good evening. It is still the 18th of December 2025, and I'm just going to do a quick video tonight because I have got to do something really important, and that is to put in a complaint to Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council. Now, yes, I have already done several complaints to them, but now I've got to do what they call a second stage complaint, which I wasn't aware of the time frame it needed to be done. I had already previously rung the council and said, look, personally, I think 11 days to put in a complaint. Usually it's 14. Plus, if you don't count the weekends, it should have been 14, but they've said 11 for whatever reason. And I did ring up and I said, look, I realistically do not see how I could put in a complaint in 11 days because I'm in the processes of moving out of the property that I'm in. I'm still waiting for a decision from a section of the council as to whether or not my Section 21 was even legal, which is one of the main reasons of my complaint. So how can I make a complaint when I haven't been given a yes or a no? So they were like, don't leave it too long, but we can take your complaint over the phone. Now, the other problem I've got, and I did speak to P3 about this earlier today when they came and visited me, was that they've half-heartedly answered my questions and have said, your complaint about this, and this is the response to this, and so on and so forth. But they have not put in the time frame. So one of the things that I wrote in my original letter was, I'm not happy with the way that I've been treated by the council because it has taken approximately 9 weeks, if not longer, for you to forward me relevant documentation, which would have been crucial for me to have had back in September of 2025 and not to receive in December of 2025 as to whether or not I was still under environmental health. As this was one of the main questions that I asked the homeless prevention team to see whether or not my Section 21 may have been potentially illegal because it would have been classed as a eviction that was done vindictively and out of retaliation due to me still being under environmental health or recently having a case closed with them. Now, because they have withheld that information, they've not gone, oh, we wrote to you and we're sorry that you didn't find the email in your spam box or in your inbox. All they've said is, but you've had that information. We've given it you. I'm not denying that you've not eventually given me that information. The reason my complaint went in the first place was due to the fact that it took you from September to December to give me this information. Just like it has taken from October to December for you to now tell me that my Section 21 was not valid, hence the reason why my landlord issued me a new one. Now I'm waiting for the council to tell me, is my new one valid and whether or not they are going to put me in a position where in February of 2026 I can reapply and put in what is classed as a homeless application due to me not having anywhere to live after the date that my Section 21 is served. Now, like I said, I've got dyslexia. I have got dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia. The council have been given proof of this. And again, they have lied. They have said, we have got no evidence that you have given us a dyslexia assessment or proven to us at any time that you are dyslexic. Now, again, this is why I could not initially give them a response on the day that I received the email. 1, because I couldn't read it. 2, because I couldn't download it onto my phone, which talks to me. I couldn't download it onto my laptop, and I finally managed to download it onto another computer, which has got a bigger screen and is wired into my television. So when I finally managed to download it, I magnified it, and I got the gentleman who is now supporting me from 3P to read it to me. And he was very clear, he was very concise, and he said, oh my gosh, there is so much information there, Katrina. You know, if you are going to put in a response to what they have put, you are going to have to be factually correct. So I have now, tonight, I'm aiming, because I want to get it in by tomorrow, before they break up for Christmas, got to go through at least 100 emails and go, well, actually, on this day, I sent an email to this person, and it took them until this date to respond to this email. They then sent me an email, or they phoned me on this day and said that my paperwork they weren't able to read my emails, but if they couldn't read my emails, why did it take them 9 weeks to tell me? If I sent somebody an email and they couldn't read it, I would expect them to either phone me, text me, write to me, or email me back and say, look, I'm really sorry, we've received this email of correspondence from you, it's not legible, is there any chance it could be resent? And that never happened. They told me in person, in a meeting that, to be honest, was an absolute waste of my time, where they did nothing but be patronising and condescending, and not just to me, but to the person that was supporting me as well. And again, this is what I put in my complaint. And they've admitted that not everybody was basically singing from the same hymn sheet in the complaint, but they've still not put in an apology, which I strongly believe this person was entitled to. It was absolutely humiliating, in my opinion, to have somebody who you've trusted to come into your house, who has been supporting you, liaisoning with you, who has been appointed to work for Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council, for them basically to be told they don't know how to do their job in a meeting. And that is how it came across. And I looked at her and I just thought, oh my God, you know, what is going on here? You know, have you not been giving me the right information, or has the information that you've given me been updated since your last training? I didn't know. I was the client, okay? And I trusted these people at Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council and 3P to know their job inside out, back to front, maybe even have people be able to interpret it in more than one language, especially considering the UK and especially Nuneaton, where I live, is very multicultural. So, I mean, in Nuneaton, we have people who speak Punjabi, Gujarati, Hindi, people who speak Polish, French, German, Dutch, from the Ukraine as well, and Spanish and Portuguese. And these are people that I myself have met on a daily basis, be it whether I've caught the bus or when I have worked within Nuneaton and Bedworth over the years. Oh, and one of the other thing I completely forgot, and I'm sorry about that, Gurkhas. We are very proud in Nuneaton that we have the Gurkhas here. We even have a war memorial dedicated to them, which actually got opened by Joanna Lumley. And it was such an amazing day. And since that day, every year, the Gurkhas in Nuneaton, we even have a mayor of Nuneaton now. It is from the Gurkha community. So again, you know, I just found it so unprofessional that the information that I was given in that meeting, and then to be given 11 days instead of 14 to put in my complaint. So that is my aim this evening. The paint is drying on the walls. There isn't really much I can do. I can't vacuum because it's after 8, and my neighbour's just had a baby. So the last thing I want to do is be making loads and loads of noise, especially if they're trying to get their baby into some kind of structure or routine. So I am going to try and do this letter, but again, to do it, I've got to make sure I've got all the relevant documentation to hand, And I do have a magnifying glass, and I am able to magnify the documents on my big screen, which is very helpful. But like I said, it was a real nightmare because I could not read the letter, and now it's been read to me. One of the advantages of having dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia is that my short-term memory isn't that great. I can put my phone down and I'll forget where it is within 2 minutes. But my long-term memory, so once I've been told something a few times, I can retain that information. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. So I can vaguely remember what it was said in the letter. And I'll literally have to go through it line by line by line and be like, right, I don't agree with what you've put here and give my answer. I'll probably do a lot of cut and pasting as well to save me time. But I know that I can still ring up in the morning and tell them that, I'm putting in a complaint and that I didn't feel that the 11 days was appropriate, and that I have done it by email, but I just want to generalize what the email is about over the phone. So if you have an issue with any of my spelling, my grammar, or punctuation, I have actually spoken to a human being who can maybe PowerPoint my complaint a little bit more clearly and concisely. And again, this is why so many people do not complain, because it is so time consuming and so labor intensive to do. And when you've been at work for 40 hours a week, or, 20 hours in a day, which a lot of people do, because there's a lot of people in Nuneaton and Bedworth who either work in hospitality and catering, the industrial industry, so they work in warehouse and distribution. Some of them are long distance lorry drivers, retail, or healthcare. And if you've done any of those sorts of jobs, they are so mentally and physically draining. By the time you get home, even if you're not happy with a service that's been provided, you don't want to sit down and write a complaint, because mentally and physically it's so exhausting. And because you're already burnt out, this is why so many things do not get sorted. It's because people sometimes you just feel like there's not enough hours in the day. So I will start this letter now, and hopefully I will get it done before midnight. And then I will send it in. I will also send a copy to my caseworker, my somebody else who supports me. And again, I'm still waiting for 3 letters from certain individuals to support me with my complaints, which I haven't received, and to also support me to explain how my dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia, plus my other hidden disabilities and my son's disabilities, affect me on a daily basis, but from their perspective. So I am hoping to get that support soon. But again, these people are saying, it's so close to Christmas, we haven't got time, I want to shop for my children, I want to go to the choir service at Coventry Cathedral, I want to spend time with my kids. And I'm never going to want to take that away from anyone, because you will never get that time back. It's so precious being with your loved ones and your family at any time of the year. But I know at this time of year, people tend to make a little bit more of an effort. So fingers crossed, I'll get it done and dusted. And like I said, if any of the information that I've shared online can be helpful to you, or if there's something I've not covered that you would like me to talk about, then please just drop me a message, okay? So be safe, be well, and take care of you.